So when people ask who I am in relation to this company, I'm the founder. Some say I'm the grandfather figure, the CEO, well, ex-CEO. And now we have handed off the baton to who we feel are much more capable, faster, smarter, better looking people than we are. So we're observers now. Though we still have our toes in the water, we still help with things here and there, a little product development. We answer questions. We have customers we dwelt with for 20 years that we still work with and still lead.
Being former teachers, we both enjoy working with adults and kids and teaching them jump rope skills and going into CrossFit gyms or schools and after-school programs. And over the years, it's been really, and even with our own children, it's been quite a fun journey.
We met in a very kind of fun way. We were both first-year teachers at a parochial school out of college. I was a physical education teacher and Lennea, fourth grade teacher. And we met very first day at teacher meetings. She was the only one not dressed up. I actually thought she was a 8th grade student representative or something at the time. But all along, we didn't know the nuns there were matchmaking us. And they had our seats available side by side. But we hit it off right away.
Best friends.
Yeah, we were best friends.
Cool. Yeah.
They matched me.
I had a nun ask me,
yeah.
She's like, have you met the PE teacher yet? I said, no. I'm like, whatever. And she said, oh, you just wait. But you had prayed for a wife.
That is true.
When you went into teaching.
I did pray for a wife before this job, and I couldn't see how I was going to work with a bunch of nuns at the school.
In 2003, when we took the leap of faith of not teaching anymore full-time. We started part-time. He just part-time taught PE to see if we could make ends meet, and totally leap of faith and trusting the Lord that He would provide with 4 kids and dropping all of the dental and the vision and medical stuff. So, I mean, the Lord just said, we had some godly men that just kind of prayed with us, and we took that leap of faith and didn't look back, and God's just provided, and it's really wild where He's brought it now. And I quit teaching to stay home with our kids, which we just wanted that. And our oldest was 3 and our daughter was 1. And then we had 2 over here and 1 actually. So.
Yeah, so probably 11, 9, 7, 5 when we quit coaching, or excuse me, when we quit teaching and went to full-time coaching in the business.
Yeah, probably younger because Jacob.
Oh, that's true.
I coached the junior jumpers, which were kindergarten through 2nd grade or competitive speed level. Then they would go up to him, and he had all the kids all the way up till high school.
Yeah.
High school kids.
I know. When I went into physical education, I mean, in high school, I played all the sports, football, baseball, basketball, track. I loved sports. I coached sports. Baseball was my big sport I loved. So I would have never chose jump rope. I knew nothing about jump rope other than maybe taking a PE class in middle school. But when I was teaching physical education, every teacher's motivation is to make an impact on a student's life, a lasting impact. And so as a PE teacher, you see kids twice a week for 30 minutes, and it's not a lot of impact there. So I learned that by doing an after-school program, that you can have a lot more influence on someone's life. You can spend a lot more time with them, get to know them, make an impact. And just as we had moved to Leavenworth, I had seen a jump rope team came to our school. It was the USA hot dogs. So they're pretty famous, and I was really impressed. And so I thought, well, that could be fun, but I know nothing about jump rope. So I was talking to God about it, and the exact same time I was praying about it, I got a knock on the door, and I opened the door up, and it's the coach of the USA jump rope team. It's like, oh, wow, that's a coincidence. So invited him in, and for 3 hours he talked to me about starting a team, and he helped me, and so we started a team, and we found success right away. Within a couple years, one of our kids broke a world record, and we decided to go competitive after 3 years. We were traveling down to Orlando at national competitions and doing well, and about the 4th and 5th year, our team started to dominate in speed contests. We became known as probably the fastest team in the country from little old Leavenworth, a town of 3,000 to 4,000 people. So
they were always asking, is it,
yeah.
What do you feed your kids? And is it the fresh mountain air? What makes them so fast?
They were a special group of kids first. They were really hardworking and athletic. And two, we were the only team specializing in speed jumping. Right. Everybody else was spending most of their time doing freestyle, which most jump ropers would say is a lot more fun than speed jumping. Speed jumping's hard work. It's painful. Yeah, but our kids took such pride in it because they were good at it, and so they loved to speed jump. They loved to work hard. And after a couple years, though, things changed. The other teams saw what we were doing, and they started focusing much more on speed jumping. So it became much more difficult to excel in speed jumping after that. Yeah, it was not necessarily a strategic idea to become a speed team, as it was a necessity, my lack of knowledge in how to do freestyle. Speed jumping's, there's not a lot to it. There's a little bit of technique, but it's just mostly hard work. Freestyle, there's so many tricks, so many ways of doing double unders and multiple unders and crosses and behind the back.
Gymnastics.
That I didn't have that knowledge yet. Yeah. The business got started in the early parts of the development of our team. As we had mentioned, we were a very good speed jumping team, and there was another team down in California that was also excellent. They were our biggest competition. Their team name was Jumping for Joy. They were coached by Cindy Joy, and Cindy Joy came out with the very first cable jump rope. Speed ropes at that time were simply the licorice type handles, cord that just came out the end. And so she came out with that cable. We saw it. We saw that they were doing pretty well with it, and we wanted it too. So we asked to purchase some from her, and she actually started her little business, Joy Ropes, I think they were called. But they were breaking every couple weeks, and we'd buy more, and they would break. We'd buy more, and they'd break, and it was like very costly. So that started the process of me thinking, how do we develop a speed rope so that the cable will have no torque on it and not break? And so through a lot of different designs and through accidents, and then maybe surely the providence of God, I came up with a 90-degree handle design that has 0 torque on the cable, and it actually revolutionized jump ropes. If you look at most jump ropes around the world now, they have the 90-degree design. Super easy to change sizes on it. There's just a lot of advantages. So we made up some, and we took it to nationals, and teams saw how well we were doing with it, and so I went around and gave a sample to every team that I could see, and from there we started to get orders, and I think we made $300 that first summer, which was great on a single salary family teacher. It was great. It was a little summer money. And then year after year, it grew and grew and grew until we started expanding our product line to other jump ropes as well. the biggest flaw that we had to overcome was my knowledge of business management skills. I had none. I was a PE teacher. I took no business classes. My parents owned a business. He was in construction, but yeah, I wasn't taught any skills. So it was a very slow process, and the business grew from very small up at small increments, which was great for me because it allowed me to learn along the way at a slow pace. And
He would come home
Yeah.
from teaching, and we'd go off to coaching as a whole family and be in the gym 3-4 days a week for 2 hours after school. And then after we put the kids to bed, we would get all the orders that would come in on the old telephone lines that I would take down during the day, the orders, and stay up till midnight packing those orders, and then next day taking them to the post office. And it's just fun to see how it's evolved, and now
Yeah.
that we're so techy,
yeah,
a whole different another world.
we were one of the most hated people at the post office because we had this huge
Laundry
amount of
baskets
boxes, and
full
everybody
of-
was waiting behind us to get their postage while we were taking up so much time sending our stuff out. Yeah.
Yeah. FedEx Ground, we had UPS, we had semi-trucks,
We had 5 deliveries a day at our house.
USPS finally could
That
pick
was a
up
real
the
nice
orders.
thing when we
We'd put all
stopped
the orders out on the
at
front
our
porch.
house. Yeah. I define doing hard things as stepping out of your comfort zone, doing something that you've never done before, something that looks scary, something that'll stretch you and push you in areas where you haven't gone before. So I was thinking when I was teaching, and I knew that my time was getting pushed so hard that a change needed to happen. And so we come to the conclusion that I should probably go to half-time teaching so I could make everything work in our family, take care of the kids, my wife, and still have time to run the business. And so we did that, went half-time, but it got to be, the business was growing every year, and we were thinking maybe we should go full-time into business. Never dreamed that could happen. Never dreamed we could do full-time jump rope business. Didn't seem possible. So we sought counsel, and we told them our story, and the council, they pointed us to the idea that it would be a good idea to go ahead and quit and take that chance. So we did that, and it was scary. But I tell you, as soon as we did it,
The Lord just blessed.
God blessed the business. Business picked up, made us more comfortable. We were able to pay our bills and still saw more orders coming in than ever. And
we were homeschooling
Yeah.
at the time, so the kids would put little pins on a map where we were sending them within the United States, but
yeah,
then it just got to be all over the world, so we quit doing that.
yeah.
And the kids grew, and
But that's true of anything in my life. I'm not a huge risk taker. I weigh things very carefully. But when I look back at all the different risks I have taken, I have not regretted one of them. And they've always been exciting and always been uplifting and always grew me in different ways. Doing hard things is not easier because I've done it before. It's still hard. It's still difficult to step out and take that risk and learn new stuff and stretch your brain in new ways. But then I look back and say, it is easier in the fact that I have a history in it and I have a perspective on it, and I've seen what happens when I do take that risk, and I've seen the positive development in myself and in my family, and just the blessings in it. It's always been positive. So yeah, taking risks, doing hard things, it's good. It's hard, but it's good. The resulting growth of doing hard things, especially quitting teaching, was several things. One that was really fun is we were able to involve the family in the business. So one of the reasons that we had actually paid for a small business way before it actually came around was that we wanted to be able to teach our kids business concepts and ideas and do things as a family. So when we were able to get the business going, our kids were totally involved in making jump ropes. We incorporated actually the whole neighborhood. We had all the neighborhood kids over making jump ropes at our house. Even their parents would come over.
And they would have a blast. I know for myself, it's too easy to let fears and doubts get in the way of what God has set you to do. And so you just have to step out and leap of faith and just keep trusting Him, keep seeking Him, asking others that have gone before, because we're both teachers, we weren't business people, you know, well, how do we do this? Or, you know, so you learn along the way. And so that's pretty special.
Just doing jump rope by itself, it's an intense exercise. You only have to do it a few seconds and your heart rate's flying and you're breathing hard. I think that's what makes jump rope hard. It's just a demanding exercise. It's why boxers use it to train. There's no other sport that's requires such exertion as boxing, and so that's why they use it.
And 10 minutes of jog, step, and jumping is good as going out and running 30 minutes. So it's easy just to take a rope anywhere on your lunch break or wherever. And
about 6 years ago, I have a genetic disease that factor V Leiden, it's called, causes blood clots to come upon me faster than normal. So I've actually had 2 in my life. We thought the first one was kind of freakish, but we didn't know about the factor V Leiden at that time. The second one, they were both what they call DVTs, deep vein thrombosis. And doctors missed it. I went in, they said, "Oh, you have a sprained ankle." I was like, "No, it was a blood clot. It got into my lungs and very dangerous. Could have killed me, but it didn't."
spent 3 days in the hospital and getting blood thinners on.
After that time, though, the second one, I have a bunch of genetic stuff my parents handed down to me, but my nerves kind of went crazy, and I could hardly walk for about a year. My physicalness, my ability to move was taken away from me, and I've always loved movement. If there was one thing I loved more than anything in the world, it was to move.
You're an athlete.
I was a good athlete, and to have that taken away from me, to barely be able to walk down the street, to not be able to hike in the mountains anymore or go for a bike ride, or was extremely hard for me. It broke me. Yeah, I was in tears quite a bit, and it was 24 hours a day of pain. There was no time where I wasn't in pain. And it gave me a whole different understanding of those who live with pain. It developed my heart in a way that softened it a great deal, which I needed. I needed softening. And so my compassion for others has grown a great deal through that period. Thankfully, the Lord's taken me out of that quite a ways. I still have quite a bit of nerve pain, but it's nothing like it was. I'm not in pain all the time. I can sit without being in pain, and I can walk and hike. And there's still things I can't do, but a lot's been given back to me. And through that time, I've grown as a person a great deal, mostly in compassion for others. Yeah. I got through it by my faith in God. I just hung to God in His promises. I knew He wouldn't leave me. I knew He was with me. Lennea's encouragement, always there.
Your children.
Yeah, just
Community.
knowing and hoping things would get better. Yeah, things seemed really bleak. Doctors couldn't figure out what's going on. They didn't have any hope for me. No one really did. So I just trusted that the Lord knew best and would take care of me. Yeah. Two things. One, do something about it. There's a saying that you don't have to know what's at the top of the stairway to take the first step. So take your first step, reach out, take a chance, be proactive, seek counsel. But I think the biggest one is to have perspective on it, knowing that it may be really hard right now, but it won't be as hard later. You'll get through it, and you'll look back on it as a time of growth, as a time where you developed different characteristics or strategies in your life that you'll actually be glad that you went through the hard time. Right now, it seems like a terrible time for you, but you'll grow so much from it that it'll be a positive in your life in the future.
And God uses those times, the hard times, to bring you through, to teach us things, but also to help us to be able to comfort others down the road. And I would just say to take a day at a time, a step at a time, and to practice gratitude, being thankful, instead of trying to focus on the negatives. Wow, I can open my eyes up, I can lift my arms up. We have a beautiful community that we love dearly that help make some of our special ropes. We call them the Migos in our little town of Leavenworth. And there's also a little gal named Nora. And Kathy and John Bankson's opened this beautiful home of theirs called the Dwelling Place. And we have the privilege and honor of them being employed with us and making ropes. And we always say if anybody's down, they ought to just go over and step in that house. And those young men and women, they just envelop you in what they're doing, and they do hard things every day, but they so much enjoy making ropes and watching people use them, and it brings so much joy.
I can think of two. I think the most important habit I have is having a time in the morning just to connect with God, to read His Word, and just to get grounded in truth every day. I think that's the most important habit in my life by far. I'd say the second one is reading. I haven't had a lot of mentors in life like I should and still can, but my mentors have been authors. And so I've done a lot of reading. I love that saying that readers are leaders, and I truly believe that. So
I would add to that exercise, since we're both active, athletic. With our kids, we wanted to model not only time with the Lord every morning in the Word, but also exercise, to get those two in somehow, some way, because scientists show that exercise is so good for your brain, for your body. You just feel better. Just having that discipline. And it was great as the kids evolved and grew up and left the home. We still do those two things: quiet time with the Lord and pray together, exercise, pray, and stick together. But it gives us time to pray on our walks over the kids or hiking or whatever. So.
Yep.
Oh,
taking care of our marriage
getaway. Take care of your marriage.
Has been huge in our life. We never have regretted doing a little getaway quarterly, and we've been religious about that. We just do it constantly. We plan it out. Yeah, you don't have to go far, but you do have to get out of the house.
Because otherwise something will be staring you in the face to
in.
do.
But it's just such a time to
Reconnect.
get reconnected
Pray.
as a couple and reconnected with God without the constant interference and noise of daily life in the house.
And to rest.
And kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, get away from them. It's also a great
teaching tool for the children to see that
Yep.
mom and dad are working on their marriage. Yeah, good.
Yes.
We'll have fun with
The
Grandpa
mom and dad
Grandma,
care
right?
enough about their marriage that they would take the time off to do that. Yes, I agree with that statement. The work is work. Work is work, and no matter what you're doing, it can be difficult and it can be hard. It's never going to be play all the time and vacation all the time. You got to put your nose down to the grindstone and you got to work hard. Mm-hmm. So at some point, even work that you love to do is going to be difficult. On the other perspective, though, to have work that is meaningful, that you totally are sold out for and totally believe, that makes a huge difference. And you look forward to going to work. You look forward to getting out of bed and going to do that type of work.